So now let's do part 2 of our Transformers Hasbro Pulse Fanstream, and this is mostly going to be more the behind-the-scenes stuff, development of a whole bunch of other product that we didn't talk about that were new reveals today, as well as what to be expecting with the next live stream with the Space Bridge reveal from BMAC, and a lot of interesting stuff was mentioned there that we're going to dive into. So let's do it like we always do here on the Transformers Slag podcast. And the first thing that we got from BMAC, Evan, and Mark was they wanted to talk about, what was going on with our Studio Series 112 Transformers 1, the movie, Optimus Prime. And they're pretty much what I liked what they said is this is the Optimus Prime toy. If you want an Orion Pax, you buy the mainline one, which is, while it is kind of a deluxe scale, it is smaller. So that could be like your Orion Pax, and this will be your Optimus Prime. So you actually kind of have a reason now to maybe buy the mainline stuff and not just wait for Studio Series releases. So there's that one right there. It was an Evan and Shusan design from Takara. Despite the fact that they wanted to make all the Optimuses like Voyager scale, they decided to make this one a deluxe class. That way it would be more affordable and more easier for people to get. Not to mention the fact that Evan said that they don't have to worry about with pre-orders with this one because there's going to be a lot of them, and that might be the suggestion because it's a deluxe and it's 8 per case. In a deluxe, it might be a solid 8 per case. And what I mean by that is instead of it being a case of 8 figures and it's 2 of each figure of 4 different designs, it'll just be a solid case of 8 Optimuses. So there'll probably be plenty of them out there and there'll be no shortage of that. He also pointed out, and what he loves is that he's like, no one has noticed that there's actually these little tabs that are in the closed fist of the Optimus that tab into the sides of the Matrix. So he actually can hold the Matrix even though he has 2 closed fists with 5mm pegs. So that's a really nice little touch there that he showed in the video. He also mentioned that despite the fact that you have a Matrix, you have the Energon axe, you also have technically some blasters because his smokestacks are on 5mm pegs. They are removable. They will be painted in silver for the final product. The images that they showed here was obviously the unpainted ones. And they could be used as blasters because they're on 5mm pegs and he could hold them. So that's a nice little extra touch there. So check out that one. He'll be a wave 1 kind of thing. Plenty of it out there. So you don't need to worry about pre-orders. It'll be out there for sure. They also showed the comic Grimlock that we've talked about a few weeks ago. The only thing that they wanted to let us know is that it is going to be a Pulse exclusive, available for pre-order today at 1 p.m. And that if you look on the spines of the boxes along with the Shockwave, it does tease that there is more to come from this line. So stay tuned for that. And they kind of almost in a little way tease it later on in the stream, but we'll get into that in a moment. That's a BMAC tease. We have the Studio Series Leader Class Swoop. That's a Hasui-san design. Hasui-san designed all 5 of our Leader Class Studio Series 86 Dinobots, so he's been really knocking it out of the park. The choice to give the G1 Grimlock sword with the Swoop was more so just because, hey, we had some space on the mold along with the budget, so we figured we'd include it with it. So that's a nice little thing there. BMAX said that there's actually another mold on the desk of Evan that he can't talk about right now, but it'll be a future character in the future. I have no idea what he's teasing at with that. It's another Dinobot member, is another Studio Series 86 thing, but BMAC being vague and teasy as always. And that he also mentioned, along with Evan, that they are planning to do more reissues of the Dinobots. You will get other opportunities to get these guys if you did miss an opportunity to pick them up in the past. So that's pretty cool. So none of those could go in crazy scalper numbers like they have already, amazingly. So you will get opportunities. They know the Dinobots are popular and they always move numbers. So Hasbro rather get that money than the secondary market having you pay 3 times MSRP for a Grimlock or anything like that. We got the Bumblebee movie deluxe class Sunstreaker, and all they wanted to really say about that one is that it was based off of some concept art. It did not have an alt mode, so they had to make up the alt mode. And originally in the concept art, this Sunstreaker character was huge, something almost of a leader class if you had to scale it to the other characters. But they obviously made it a deluxe because that would make no sense for that character. And that is that. It was a Kuniharu-san design along with Evan, and that's why he is a deluxe. We also have the Gamer Edition, War for Cybertron Activision video game Sideswipe Deluxe Class. The plan to release this along with Sunstreaker was on purpose. They wanted that the brothers could both be deluxes released in a wave together. So that's a nice touch with that. The weapon could be plugged in both in the fist plug on his fist as well as on his wrist, so you could emulate how it is in the game. He also said, Evan, that the transformation, despite it transforming into a car, is very unique compared to what we normally see in car transformations, and he thinks that you'll have a really fun time transforming that one, despite the fact that it's a deluxe car, and it's very different. And it's a Kuniharu-san and Evan design also, this one. We got the Bumblebee movie Voyager class studio series Shockwave. All they really wanted to say about that is that it's a Koku-san design along with Evan, and it had a lot of Transformers Prime influence when they were kind of working on the designs, and of course the alt mode especially. Then of course we get into Legacy United stuff, and while we already talked about the Vector Prime and the Nucleos in the other segment, we do have some stuff to talk about here. So like the Deluxe Class Sideburn was a Hasui-san design along with Mark. And what they wanted to do was they actually put metallic plastic shards into the blue plastic to kind of give it that sheen, because they wanted to really emulate something that was like the anime shine of the animation model and the cells of the character of Sideburn, aka Speedbreaker in Car Robots. So that's an interesting take on that. With Hotshot, Hotshot was 100% designed by the Takara Tomy team. It was done by Tomo-san. And they obviously pulled a little bit from the original toy, a little bit from the animation model like we talked about yesterday. And they just wanted to say it is extremely posable. And even Evan pointed out the ankle tilts that it has. So one big gap and difference from the original is that this thing could pose like crazy, as opposed to the more bravish kind of stiltness that the original Cybertron toys have. And they're great toys too, but different era. And they wanted to let you know all of these pre-orders are up right now as of 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some of them might be sold out, but like I said, there's other avenues and other opportunities through partner websites and stuff too. Now, they ended it all off with BMAC giving some teasers of what to expect in a future fan stream and future product with the next of the Space Bridge. So first they showed a Studio Series 86 Core Class G1 Steeljaw. So that's pretty hyped that we're getting some more cassettes for our blaster. Long overdue, in my opinion. Then we got a Deluxe Class. This is the War for Cybertron Gamer Edition Decepticon Trooper. And it's probably going to be a retool, repaint of the barricade that we got up to this point. So that's probably what's going to happen with that one. Then we got the Voyager class Bumblebee movie Skywarp, and that one's pretty clear what that's going to be a repaint of. You know, the Starscream, the Green Thrust. It's definitely going to be a repaint from that, so that's just a no-brainer. A Leader class Studio Series 86 Springer. Evan chimed in on this one and said that pretty much what they're doing is they're taking that Siege Voyager one that we got, and they're plus sizing him up and giving him all the bells and whistles, and it'll be really awesome. So that's great to hear, because I always felt that Siege one was pretty on the nose and pretty awesome and great as a Voyager. So the fact that they're going to use that as a foundation and just make something like that but better, sign me up, man. We're getting all those Leader Autobot triple changers now, and it's about time for Springer's turn. And then the two big ones at the end. So these ones, because they're kind of put separately, make me wonder if they're going to might be some capsule or store exclusives. I don't want to kind of go too deep into that, but Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. So finally, people are going to get another opportunity to get a Bumblebee. Is it going to be a brand new tooling? I'm imagining so. Different from what we got with the War for Cybertron Netflix version. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. People are going to get a good Bumblebee, and I get a feeling it's going to be pretty good. I imagine they're looking at the tooling and the ideas that they did through Masterpiece recently, and they could probably pull something off in Studio Series. Maybe if they make it a Voyager class where they could really figure something out. They could, you know, they'll have the budget of a Voyager class, but they could still scrunch it down into something that's more Bumblebee size, but they'll have the budget to do the more panels and everything. I don't know. That's just my take. I've always felt that it was going to happen anyways, because the yellow that was used on the Netflix one was so orangey, and that's totally not Studio Series with the coloring. So we will see. And the last one here is the continuation of the comic line, like we said, if you look at the spine. And they said here that they're going to be doing a leader class Straxus. So first thing that clicked in my mind here is, oh, so that means they got the Straxus trademark back, because for the longest time they had to use Darkmount. The Straxus trademark was being used by the Doctor Who brand at that time. And there was a character called Straxus in that. So, it is what it is. But because it's part of the comic line so far has showed us that these are pretty much, repaints with minor tooling or new accessories. So I imagine that this is probably going to also be a repaint. And we've seen this already with third party. We've seen it with, comic panels of what Straxus has always looked like. And I imagine that we're probably looking at something where they're going to either take the Kingdom Galvatron that we already have and retool that into Straxus extension, in a deep way, or maybe we might be seeing early on the Studio Series 86 Galvatron tooling. I'm thinking more of the Kingdom one, but you never know. Some people are thinking, well, Netflix, was supposed to have a Legacy series and Straxus had a design in that. Maybe it's that version. This is the comic line. It's going to reflect how he looked in the comics. So that's probably what it's going to be. So probably, if I was a betting man, repaint of that Galvatron leader class, new tooling on it, probably an accessory here or there. And we got Straxus done proper, instead of just Darkmount and a Shattered Glass one. And he'll be part of that comic line. So I'm very excited about that. And that's it, more or less. Again, a lot of cool stuff. Otherwise, we'll probably be expecting another live stream at some point. April 30th does have a pre-order that we'll probably be expecting at some point on Tuesday coming up. But we'll see what happens with that. We still have much more to talk about, but I'll probably save that for tomorrow. I think you guys have enough to chew on today. So let me know what you think about all of this, and I'll talk to you again really soon on the Transformer Slag podcast. I hope you enjoyed this Transformer Thursday fan stream, and I'll talk to you in the near future.